The doorstep is such an insignificant thing, isn't it? It has been there every day of your life. You have crossed it on your way to school, on your way to work, on your way shopping, on your way to see family and friends. What if you were to look at it in a different way? Maybe to go a little further. Here, let me explain.
Once across the doorstep, the world is yours to explore.
Exploring. When does exploring become an adventure? An adventure to many would be visiting a new country, experiencing new cultures, or an adventure may be taking up a challenge with an unknown outcome, or maybe taking up a challenge where there is risk. An adventure may be taking a journey where you believe that journey is going to be your adventure. To me, I don't think you need to travel far to find an adventure. What if you were to explore your home locality, the surrounding areas, but view it in a different perspective? An adventure to me is many different things. Today, you find me in North Wales alongside the majestic gates to Chirk Castle. The castle itself dates back to about 1291 and is reportedly to be one of the most continuously lived castles in Wales. In fact, it was lived in until about 1981, and it was then handed over or taken over to be managed by the National Trust. Here in Chirk, the Llangollen Canal passes through the little town. Chirk has its own aqueduct and canal tunnel, which is one of the longest canal tunnels in Wales with a towpath. Today, however, we've explored the canal tunnel and the aqueduct. We're heading along the Llangollen Canal towards the highest aqueduct in the world, where the Llangollen Canal crosses the River Dee.
up on the panorama. We're just going to have a look at some area where there may be some fossils, because we're looking at the Igloosig rocks. This area is quite famous for finding fossils. Many years ago, the kids loved to come up here and do hunting, see what fossils they can find. I don't know whether we'll be lucky today. Not that I'm an expert at looking at fossils to decide what they are. I think that may be one, but we'll take it with us and have a look. Nope, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. The Igloosig rocks, they're quite awesome, aren't they? Hundreds of feet, almost vertical. They almost look, and I think they may have been worn down by water in years ago. So here we are, we're about to enter the village of Pentradur. Has a million memories for me, and we'll go into that in a few more minutes when we get further into the village. But the valley itself is just beautiful. As I just mentioned, we were entering the village of Pentradur. The village itself, and in particular the house I'm just outside now, has very, very happy memories for us. It was where I lived for the first 20 years of my life, and they were really wonderful times. The house itself goes back to the early 1700s, but the first recorded of the house itself was in 1819, I believe. It was then a pub and really lodgings for quarrymen and farmers, and basically that's who the village was really built around many years ago. The road you can see here, and the one I'm just going to cycle up in a minute, was the old road between Llangollen and Ruthin. So it was the main road in this area way back in the 1800s. The White Hart here, we'll just have a look at it in a minute, as I said, goes back to the 1700s, and it was our family house from the 1950s and 60s until we moved away from the area. That was then really for my father, who had found a different employment. Yeah, the house has had quite a checkered history. Been burnt down twice. I think once when it was a pub, and luckily all the occupants did manage to escape, and later times since we moved out, the house was again had a fire. Don't know too much about what happened then, but obviously it's been rebuilt now. One of the main reasons of my visit today, or into the village, one obviously is to see how the village is these days, but the other little adventure really is to see if I can cycle up the old pass there. The gradient gets to about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 further up as we get into the moorland. It should be a real good challenge, and as I understand it, I could be the first person to have ridden up here on a recumbent trike, which would be then an added little bonus, wouldn't it? So we're about to start up the old hill. As children, we only ever used to get to about the moorland area where the cattle grid is, which we'll film as we go through. So the latter part, all those years ago, we never really managed to get our bikes up there, but the old bikes in those days probably never had any gears. I'm hoping that with the gearing I've got on the trike, I can get up this hill today to the top of the Horseshoe Pass. I think somewhere here used to be an old brick water tank that fed the village. Obviously it's now well overgrown. But yeah, just about here there was a spring that came out to the mountain, and the tank, I think from what I can remember, was pretty much always full.
You're always suspicious of white vans, aren't we?
Well, there are a few round here.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll go, thank you. What, are you doing a challenge?
No, well, only for myself. As I say, when we were kids, we always seemed to get to here.
Yeah.
And there's been sort of a little bit of ambition anyway, and then there's a chance to come up and see our Ruth, who's, she's in church.
Yes.
And
oh, I'll tell Ruth I've seen you, and Errol.
And Errol, yeah.
I've seen Mary this morning.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I've just been with Kat.
Yeah.
We've been in the school actually. We have a maker day on a Friday.
Oh, I was going to say, because I just went to the school now.
Yeah.
And saw all the cars there, and I think I just expect it to be empty.
No, we use it every day of the week.
Yeah.
I'm doing something. We do a load of stuff there. Yeah, yeah.
Well, say hi to Reese.
I will, I
Lovely.
will.
Yeah.
I'm glad I've seen you. Glad I've seen you. I have to go and check the sheet. We had another one run over the
Oh no, oh dear. Well, here is the famous cattle grid that we used to get to when we were children. Just bumped into a lady who lives in the village now, so that was nice. Married to Riz. So on this corner there's an old cave which we'll have a look at now as we go past. But yeah, that was quite a nice surprise to bump into somebody. So let's get over the cattle grid. Mind you, it's just started raining, so it's probably going to make the road a little more slippy. So here we go anyway, onto the mountain part of the climb. Just on this left hand side, on the bend here, there used to be quite a big cave. I think according to some information, it's been filled in now to stop people going in there. I think it's just here. Now here we are, just coming up to it on the left here. Covered by gorse now. There's the entrance. There we are. The Dragon's Cave. Windberries, probably more commonly known today as blueberries. They were always windberries to us when we came up here to collect them in, and they were delicious. Up the hill, up the hill. That's the old pass conquered. Even if we didn't make it as kids, we've made it on the recumbent trike. I wonder if it's probably the first ever person to ride up there on the recumbent trike. So here we are on the top, the Ponderosa Cafe. All closed up now, unfortunately. I think I would have had a well-earned coffee if it had been open, but it's not. So, have the photographs. And all I'm greeted with is a few sheep. Man out sheep, I'm coming that way. With a big Ponderosa sign over there. Let's see if we can get to it. A wall all round. Probably there's a way out over there. So we'll go that way. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. All shut up, bit disappointing.
Do voices call? From the valley to mountain tops there is a call. I am hearing whispers from among the old walls, peering down on a village appearing so small. Yes, we knew all, from family, friends, farmers and animals. It was one and all, roaming from when we could crawl to when we were tall. for home had little protocol. Adventure for us was just normal. Exciting were the mountains, woods and rivers we would trawl. Yes, 300 years on, the White Hart still stands majestically and still enthralls. Though many a year has passed, and yes, it is harder to kick a ball, nothing will replace those childhood memories that I recall. Ah, but this valley is the best place of all. I am returning, for there is a call from among the old walls.
Of the Horseshoe, what is now known as the Horseshoe Pass, which I rode up here a couple of years ago on my trike and a bit earlier on a road bike. Yeah, so we've established that we've managed to get up the old pass on the trike. Could be the first person to do that, and yeah, no, been a good day so far. And now it's downhill, all on the old downhill on the new pass. It's a main road, so we've got to be a little bit careful.